Let's see what's going on and whether we've managed to sort ourselves out. Excellent. Cool. Hello Mel, welcome. Hi John, thank you. Could you both confirm that you can see and hear me okay? I'm most grateful. And then just because it could, it's decided it will start to rain. Yeah, typical, isn't it, when you start to go live? So hopefully, oh, let me move that so that I don't hit that and go off by mistake. That wouldn't be good. Thanks Jan, much appreciated. Hi Anya, welcome, welcome. So I can continuing on mission use up what I have. I'm doing a mixture of things. So this week I decided I would go for a more papercraft based activity than last week, which was very definitely much more mixed media stroke decoupage. Hi Deirdre, good afternoon Elaine. I'm just going to wait for it to just tickle through to 3 o'clock so that I can start at a time when I said I was going to start. It's always helpful to start when you say you're going to start. We've got a few people coming in. People will join us. I've got no fan on today, so hopefully there won't be a background humming. If I get too cold, I might put it back on. If I'm warm enough in my hoodie, then I shall stay as I am. Hopefully there's enough noise from the rain hitting the conservatory roof. Cool. So we have hit 3 o'clock. So we're going to make a folio. Now as far as I can work out, the only difference between a folio and an album is that albums have pages and folios don't. Simple, I think. Maybe I've got it wrong, but that's my interpretation. It certainly is rain, Elaine, and hello Isabel. So let me just put some of this extra stuff onto a safe space and I can talk through what I've got here, because we're going to start literally from scratch. There we are. And as we're going to cover these up, I will write on these. So these are just 2 pieces of grey board that have been covered, well, came as they are covered. So this is 7 inches that way and 10 inches that way, and I've got 2 of those. When I cut, this is the width of an A4 sheet. That is the cut-off piece, so it's just over an inch, about 1.25 inches, yeah, maybe 1.5 inches. So that is just quite convenient. It meant that I wasn't going to be wasting too very much. Good afternoon, Lorraine. So that's the plan, and these are the covers that we're going to be working with. So let me just pop this over here, because this is always a bit of fun and games. So I have some black tape for constructing. I'm just going to drop that down onto there so that it's relatively straight, and I've got my black tape from Tamara Morton. It's her book binding tape. So let's just have that reasonably square on there. The edges are going to get covered anyway, so it won't matter. And then you need some form of spacing device. So that is 1/4 inch wide. These are from Tamara and they're long. They were custom made for me, and this piece can now butt up into there, because then those are reasonably even, and I can pop this piece over this piece over. We're going to add some layers anyway. Hi Laurie, hi Lynn, hi Sheila. So let me just chop off the long length of this piece. So they say it's almost like insulating tape, I think. So I can now take that piece and pop it down, pull it down, and pop this piece up here. If it goes a bit wonky, going up doesn't matter, because ultimately we're going to be covering some more of this anyway. But this tape is relatively robust and will help keep everything together. That can come down a wee tad from there. So there we are. So we're literally just going to pop our spine pieces together. Hi Bea, welcome my darling, welcome. So let me just, so this tape is relatively well behaved. It will burnish out creases quite happily, and by leaving a gap in the middle, it's going to allow me to have a flexible hinge that I can then work with. There we are. And I'm going to cover my edges. So that is hinge number 1. So we're going to repeat that. And it's just, this is just the way that I find easiest, to trap a piece of the thread over on there and hang the roll off. And then I can pop this approximately square onto there. This piece is all square anyway, onto there. I can pop that into there, pop that into there, and then I hopefully have all of my pieces reasonably squared on my piece. So that piece can go down there. I'll take another long length of this, and that is the basis of my cover. So it's not a difficult process. And in the middle, of course, I'm going to, because I've pretty much covered this, I'm going to have 2 or 3 thicknesses of my black tape. They say that comes from Tamara Morton. Memories Paper Arts fame. And I can just burnish this down quite nicely. Give this a little burnish into the gaps. And I know that I'm going to be adding more into this, so it doesn't matter which way I go from here. So let me just give this burnish on the opposite side, just to make sure it's properly stuck down and neat and tidy all the way down. So I've got some nice thick tape and nice stable thing. This is Tamara Morton's bookbinding tape. So she's relatively inexpensive, which is cool, and it just is robust enough and thick enough. It's quite, see, I can't break it by pulling. Sneaking a peek, Joan. Very good. So it, you know, I really am putting quite a lot of pressure on there, and it's not breaking, so it's really good for creating bases for things. And then I'm going to cover my edges of here. Now this is always a bit of a challenge, but again, if it's a bit wonky donkey, it actually doesn't matter, because let me just shuffle that out of the way, because we're going to cover it anyway. So there we are. So let's just shovel that piece of black tape onto there. Sticky tape, I love you. There we are. Let's just move the mouse out, completely out of the way, and then I'll have enough room to work and amongst all the other bits that I've got on my table, because why would you not have lots of stuff on your table? There we are. There we are. So I'm just going to pop this onto there. I'm just going to chop it off at the edge, and then to get a nice, I'll just trim that a little bit more neatly, and we'll do the same at the other end in a minute. Okay, to get a nice edge, we're just going to literally roll so that that sits on there, and then we can pull this down. So it's just an easy way of covering. And then take a bone folder and give it a nice good wriggle down. I'm going to have to trim a bit at that end because I didn't have it completely covered, and that is just fine. There we are. And then it's rinse and repeat. Yeah, you can use, this is what, about 1 inch wide. There's lots of different thickness of the bookbinding tape, and to be honest, any brand will do. I just like to support small companies, and Tamara is a very good friend of mine, so it makes sense to me to use that. So, and it just makes for an easy edge, and to some extent it saves you a bit of a headache because you're not having to roll paper around, but as I say, I will be adding paper to it anyway, so it won't really matter. Yeah, I know. So you can get the size that you want for the projects you want, which is cool, isn't it? So rock that round, make sure it's attached, pull this over, pull it over, trim that down, and give it a good burnish. So, as I say, we're going to do some simple bookbinding, or simple making, rather than making life complicated. I will do, darling. Thank you. Yeah, I can do. So, we're now going to repeat said process. And I'm just deliberately leaving an end over there and rolling that round. Let's just give myself some wriggle room from there. So I now know that I need a triangular piece coming in to there, and a triangular piece coming into there. And it's called cheats mitering, but it works for me. Okay, so let's just off end the other end, get rid of the tackiness. Get rid of the tackiness, separate those two out, it might be a bit of a pain. Okay, so we're going to come into there, put that down, and all I'm doing is this way, is I'm just creating a nice edge. So here, where it's over, I'm just going to come in, pop that down, and I've got a nice tidy corner without a huge amount of effort. So I will repeat that for the other side, and then we'll have our base reasonably well covered, and we can pop the tape away. I don't, as I say, I'm not leading long pieces of this, and it means I'm not having to wrap around card, so I'm adding relatively little. Now if I pop this up here, rather than just on the edge, it'll help with the mitering. There we are. Put that over there, and then I can lift that slightly, come in from my corner, pop that through, come in from the corner, out to the edge. There we are. And then give that a jolly good squishle down. Now if you want your hinges to be more rigid than that, then you can add some extra layers. I'm not mithered in any way, shape or form. So I now have a cover for my book that's going to hold reasonably well, and we have some pieces of back card. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue says she is going to add a little bit of glue. But why not? She says. There we are. Let us just swipe this around because you don't need masses. Pop this glue onto here, and each layer that you add, of course, adds a little bit of depth and a little bit of stability, and there we are, and will help to hold and make everything more robust. So hopefully we've now got enough of that onto there, and we can pop this onto there, line it up with the edges, and that is cut to the same size of the base piece. There we are. So that's giving me a nice neat cover finish, and we can then add goodly watch of that. Take this, because you don't want it falling apart, add a generous amount of the glue, pop this onto there, give it a little wipe down, and of course I will be decorating these anyway, so it's less of an issue long term. Hi Alison, hi Martin, good afternoon Anna Decoart, it's lovely to see you. So let's just give this a good cover. I can wipe off the excess, that's not a problem. I'd rather have more than I need than not enough at this stage, because your whole piece is stability and integrity is banked on that. And of course, because I'm using glue, proper wet glue, it's going to embed into my cardstock, so it's less likely to come apart long term. Now I could have cut those just a little smidgen smaller than that, but this is going to mean that I've got nice edges all the way around, nice black edges. Those can go there, that can go there, and we're going to repeat, because why not? So, and we're using up stuff, so that's cool. I like the idea of using up product. And we will be decorating anyway. So we're going to make the cover to the point of embellishing it, and then we're going to swap to what we're going to pop inside. So if people have got questions, feel free to ask away. If I don't see your comments, then I will hopefully pick them up afterwards. It's not always possible to pick everything up. So this one is going to go onto here. That can go onto there. Give that a little rub down. Get rid of the tatty edges from the knife trimmer. Add the next layer. Now I could have taken this across and not had a gap there, but actually, and it would have added an extra layer of stability to here. But this is just one way of many. We are. Wow, I do like it when a plan comes together for using stuff up. There we are. We'll just tick that onto there. Hopefully it'll not come across, and then we can pop this into here. So we've got basically grey board cover that we've edged with an insulating tape, bookbinding tape, and then we're going to cover it all for neatness with some black card. There we are, and hopefully that will then look cool. So there we are, then that can go onto there, that can go onto there, that can get pushed down. We'll just take that bit off there. So we now have a cover. Let's just give this all a jolly good push down so that it looks neat and tidy. So let's just give that a press there, press around the edge, squash out any of my excess glue. I can wipe that off, push down around the edges. The glue will dry clear. Yes, it will dry a little shiny, but hey ho. There we are. Pop that down, pop that down, pop that down. Get rid of all the bits that we've got lurking around. Let's repeat on this side, just to make sure we're nicely glued into place. There we are. There. Okay. So, and you can see where I've pushed out my excess glue. So let's just give that a little bit of a wipe. So now, as I say, we're going to do the up to the decorating of the cover, but not the rest of it. Oops. Okay. So I now want to add a piece of paper to the outside of my spine. This spine area is, let me measure it for you, it will be 1.5 inches by 9 inches, but I'm actually going to take off by 10 inches, so we're going to go for 9 3/4. So I'm just going to take the little edge off the side of this 12x12, and these are the Woodland papers by Stamperia that I've chosen, partly because I have them in my stash and I needed to be using them up. So that's 1.5 inches, the width of my spine. I'm going to have a little bit of black each side showing because of the hinges, which were 1/4 inch gap. So I can chop that down to 9 3/4, and then I'm going to have a little border all the way around, and I can pop that side that way or that side that way. So we're going to pop this side that way. Let's see if this is going to play the ball nicely. And I'm not inking today because, well, quite frankly, life's too short. So we'll just add a little bit of glue all the way around. Hopefully this glue is going to last. It's Polish school glue, so it's one of my go-to pieces. That can have a little margin there, that can have a little margin there, and I can just pop that down onto there. And as I say, this is just the way I'm making this album today. It's just a variation that you can use. So I know that I want to put, there we are, some of this ribbon even into here for my closure. So we want a piece of tape when I can find the ends, because why wouldn't you want to find the ends? You know, when you have them before the line. There we are. It's approximately in the middle, so it's 10 inches, so that is reasonably straight. That is reasonably straight. That can go across there. That can go across there. that can go across to there, and hopefully we stayed reasonably straight all the way across. Probably won't matter too much. There we are. So let's just give this a goodly burnish down, get rid of the air, better adhesion onto there, and let's take that off, get rid of the static, pop that into there. Sure. Now I don't want this to be hugely bulky, and it's shabby ribbon, you know, because why would I choose anything other than shabby ribbon? So this is about 18 a metre of shabby ribbon. So let's just pop that into there, and then untack or flatten it out as best as I can as I come down here. We're going to be layering paper straight onto this, and I like my ribbons to be underneath my pieces, or wrapped around and over. So we're doing an underneath one today. There we are. Okay. So that's going to sit in there, and it's going to need some support. And she said, putting all of her pieces that she's got on the floor, because why wouldn't you? So we're going to make a feature of this. So this is just a piece of chipboard from Stamperia. It's thicker, and therefore I tend to prefer this for the idea of covers, because it's more robust than pieces of paper. The ephemera would work, but yeah, so I've just got that out of that set. We'll pop that onto there, and we've got an extra piece of ephemera which we'll pop onto there, and another piece of ephemera of the die. These are die cut chipboards, so they're relatively thick, which we are going to pop onto there to anchor that in place. And now I need some pieces to cover these. So we are going to cut this piece of paper. So this was 7 inches, so we're going to go 6 3/4. Let me put this into here. Oh, she says, maybe we won't put it into there. There we are. So 6 3/4 tall, and 10, so we're going to go 9 3/4 tall. There we are, and it gives me some loose pieces which we'll come back to. Pop that over there. And as I say, I've chosen not to use lots of inks and stuff today, because I just well, that was the way I was working, and I'm adding white mats, but it doesn't really matter. You do you. But if you add inks to one thing around the edges, keep it consistent through the whole of your project. There we are. Now I'm not sure how far we're going to get today, for a whole host of reasons, because it's really quite a big project. So it may just be that that we do parts of it, and I come back and do the second part later on. So let me just give that a goodly push down onto there, and I will be adding other elements to the front of this, but not at this stage. So that's that piece, and we're going to add, I think, rather than the mouse that's on the stage of here, we're going to add this piece. So we're going to cut that to 6 3/4 again. They're lovely papers. As I say, they're the Woodland papers by Stamperia. So 6 3/4. That can go across there by 9 3/4. Okay. Pop that there, pop that there, and then I'll tell you where we're going with the cover, but as I say, I'm not going to do it at this stage. Let me just move some of my extraneous stuff out of the way. Let's flatten you down a little bit more and grab my glue, which is upside down. So this is a Stamperia paper collection. For this make, I have got one 12 by 12 and one 8 by 8 pad. So one of the problems, I think, with Stamperia papers is that you only get 10 sheets in a collection, and then 2 of the sheets are not really backgroundy. They are full of tags and die cuts, and the inside covers are also not usable for for mass pieces because they've got fussy cut elements on them. So if you're going to make an album, I'm not saying you can't do it with just a single pad of paper, but you're going to be limited in what you do. So there is our cover for our folio, and I'm just going to pop that on the floor to dry out flat. There we are. So there we are. I'll give that a mop. So I spent some time this morning let's wipe that dry. Otherwise this will get soggy. Making some pieces. So I have another piece of the paper, cut 6 3/4 by 9 3/4, and then I want lots of space in essentially 2 pages, the front and the back cover, to make my to put lots of photographs or journaling in. And so I have cut myself lots of pieces of card. Now standard photograph sizes are 6 by 4 or 5 by 7, so these I have cut at, let me measure it for you, she says, if she can see what there we are. So this is cut to 6.5, so just a bit bigger than my photograph, but for a 6 by 4, and then it's cut at 5 inches and scored at 1/2 inch. So it's 6.5 by 5, scored at 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to reinforce that fold now, because we're going to construct a waterfall onto here. Okay, so we've got lots of these. Put that onto there. It's going to give me a little margin, approximately the same all the way around, might be a bit more one side. There we are. So just make sure that you've got it looking relatively straight to your eye, and give it a good push down. I've got lots of these to go because it's a big area. So this waterfall in its own right is going to hold 16 pictures. So you can create quite a big piece album with just a portfolio, with a folio. You don't need to create an album all of the time that's got lots of flips and flaps to give you that spaces. There we are. So let's just make sure that they're lining up, and that can go onto there. So as we go. And I'm just butting that up neatly. making sure that they're lining up reasonably well. I could have cut these a tad smaller if that's what I wanted. But, and because I've got black for my edges of my spine, that's why I'm choosing black for matting and layering. So all we're going to do is create ourselves a little waterfall piece. There we are. Get that into line. So I haven't cut that one quite the same size. Let me just whip that off and take off that little extra for whatever reasons. That's not quite the right length. So I'm assuming, there we are, let's just chop that off. So even though I pre-cut everything, you can see it's always worth. Well, hopefully it isn't too complicated. I think that I've pared this back to make it as interesting but hassle-free as I possibly can, because like you, I think you can have lots of very fancy albums, but you can also, that is the correct side, they can have so many pop-ups and interactive elements that actually you've got no space for your pictures, and that to me also sort of defeats the purpose of what we're doing. There we are. So let's just pop this into here. And by doing this, I'm not making sure that these are all neatly aligned as I come down, so that they work for me. Yeah. Well, I ummed and ahed about doing this with Magic Forest, but I've published a couple of other things recently with it, so I've decided not. But it would make, you could do this with any of the albums, any of the paper pads, but you would definitely need, for what I'm doing, a an 8x8 pack and a pack of 12x12. You could use Magic Forest has background papers, doesn't it? So you could do it with a 12x12 pattern and a 12x12 background as well, but you definitely need more than just a pack of 12x12, particularly when you're doing something as big as the plan. And by the time you start adding all of the layers in, you absolutely need to have more pieces. So I'm making my page layout like this ahead of putting it in my album, because it's just going to be easier for me. Okay, so now we can pop all of those down. Okay. So that's reason. By the time it's glued down, it will flatten in. Okay. Before I pop this into my album, I have gone slightly skew-whiffed as I've come down, but hey ho, who's counting? I'm not. There we are. I'm going to need a way of keeping this down and neatly in place. So I have got some 1.5 inch, I think they were 1.5 inch. No, they weren't. They were 2-inch pieces, and they are 10 inch, not 8.5 inches long, scored at 1 inch. So 2 inches wide, 8.5 scored at 1 inch. And I'm just going to pop this onto here. So this is 216. But you could go a bit. I sometimes find that the 300 GSM card is just a little bit. There we are. Let's even you up ish. So let's just pop that into there. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. Hey, I like it when a plan comes together. and we're going to do the same at the other end. You can get away with 213, 260 because we are layering on top. So let's just pop this piece into here, make sure that that aligns. That can go over there, that can go over there. Okay, so in my album those are going to hold those in place quite nicely. And obviously I need some of these decorating. So this piece was 2 inches wide, so I want a strip of pattern paper now that is 1 3/4 inches wide, and I want it to be 7 1/4 long. So I've got leftover pieces of card from my cutting out, so I can use, I think we might pop that onto there. So we'll just trim this down so that it works. So I need this to be 1 3/4 by, and because I've got half a brain, yeah, 240, 270 will work. I find absolutely. So there we are. That can go there. That can go there. That can go there. So, but I am going to be adding lots of layers onto this. So 7 and 2/18, just to be difficult. Yeah, because that's just what you would do, isn't it? Measure 7 and 2/18. And I'm going to need 4 pieces like that. Hey ho! Hello Miriam, welcome. I must remember to put this back in the glass so that it's not in the way. And you'll realise there's a method in my madness for doing things in this this particular order. There we are. Stick that back into there. Stick that into there. That can then sit neatly on there. So we want 4 strips that are approximately, well, that are the same, because we've got an upper panel and we've got a lower panel. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 7 1/8, 7 1/8. That gives me, that means I've got 3, 1 in and 1 not. That's never going to be 7 1/4, so let's just grab another piece of cardstock, other pieces, and I'm hoping that by doing this we'll have used lots of the pieces, but not and not wasted very much. I may not have a mountain to go in my scrap box because I don't like scraps and I don't like waste. So there we are. Excellent. So let's just have a little bit of a tidy up. Swing this round, swing this round. So that is going to go, so that piece can go onto there. Or do I want that piece onto there? No, I think we'll stick with the side. You see, that's the joys of double-sided papers, isn't it? You can then choose the side that you want. There we are. Pop that into there. Pop that onto there. Wipe off the extra. Do I want that to hang? Or do I want it to go up like that? You can't see what I'm doing because it's too long, because that's what you do, isn't it? You choose a size of a project, that is going to be difficult to have the whole thing on camera, you know, but hey ho. So again, stick that in. I'm just sticking that into a glass because then it's up the right way. Pop that into there, even it out, make sure it's sort of straight and sort of centralised. And we'll do the same there. So has anyone got any questions they want to ask me thus far? Pop that. So that's going to come down, that's going to come down. That can go into there. Okay. So let's pop that there and pop that there. Now I know that I'm wanting to add some magnets into my pieces, and I wanted to add some extra elements, but I don't necessarily want it all to be, all of these to be added straight away, if that makes sense. So we have, and I'm going to pop it round this way. So this is a piece from the 8x8 pad, because the one for the in the 12x12s were just too big. So I'm going to pop that onto there, and I think I'm going to pop that just up there. So I just need to add the glue just onto that bit, so that that is sitting on there. And I probably should have put them a magnet in first, but hey ho, we haven't, so let's just put that into there on the back piece. So that's going to go there, and now this end looks horrible mucky, messy, so let me just grab a magnet and stick it onto there. Find the end of your tape. There we are. So let's just take that, pop that onto there, give that a little burnish, and then we can pick that up. We can pop that there. I want my next magnet, because we're a numbskull, to go onto that side of there. So I shouldn't have put that piece of paper on first, but that's fine. I can cut another piece and cover that quite happily. But I'm going to need to leave room here for this to fill out. So I'm just going to add, because this looks mucky, you can see me pulling faces. This onto here, pop that onto there, that will cover that. Okay, squash that closed onto there. It's giving me a nice robust piece for covering that, and when this comes down, I'm going to want that to be comme ça. So there we are. So let's just put this piece. Oh, why buy a glue holder when an upside down when a glass will work? That can go onto there. Okay. And I will add, but not now, another magnet into there, and probably recover that, because I don't think the magnets are going to. Let me just see. Right, if I hold that onto there, pop that into there, so I don't think that that's going to work through the depth of the whole thing, because it's not a particularly strong magnet, but we'll tackle that in a minute. Okay, so we've got our base pieces. I know, because I cut them all. We have now got a large number of photo mounts, so bear with while we rinse and repeat. I've used watercolour cardstock, but you know, use what you've got, doesn't matter. And you could add stamping. Well, we will add some stamping, but I'm going to pop these in first and do the ultimate decorating afterwards. So these are just photo mats. I think they were 6 1/4 by 4, just to be a bit difficult. So we're just going to add these in, and the reason I'm doing it this way is that I'm going to, on the outside of these, add a decorative element so that it'll cover it. So we're just going to, and I suppose if I thought about it, I could so my magnets came from Amazon, and those are 10mm neodymium, she says that's a difficult word to say, and they're 1mm thick. And obviously don't do this if you've got to give it to someone who has heart problems, because that really wouldn't be a great option. It will, yeah, at all. The Stamperia magnets are horrible. They're really thick. They'll do the job, but they're for something that's you want to be relatively delicate, they're definitely quite thick and not so nice. There we are. Yeah, thank you, B, for writing that in there, because it's an impossible word to say, isn't it? There we are. You can see now how you can build to have lots and lots of photographs into something like this, can't you? There we are. Good morning, Terry. Welcome, my darling. Now, have your clocks gone back in the US? I saw posts that suggested that they might be. And if so, what ungodly hour of the day is it for you? Because I really have. I find it confusing enough when the UK ones go back, let alone when anyone else's does what we're daft enough to do. There we are. So Terry Lightsey is an American crafter, and she will be streaming at 9 o'clock tonight. Or will it be 8 o'clock our time, my darling? On Terry Lightsey own page, or in Crafting Chaotic, or in Terry Lightsey's Creations. I think I can't remember the third one. Anyway, Terry Lightsey. So, and she'll be, no doubt, be upsiding 8:50 a.m. so it's right, and it's 4 o'clock here. I'll try and remember that, because or nearly 4 o'clock here, so you've gone, yeah, right. That's just designed to make it even less social, isn't it? But hopefully it means that you can watch before you have to go to church, if that's what you're doing on a Sunday morning. as I say, I've chosen the sizes of this because so that it will fit reasonably standard size picture photographs in. And I suppose if I'd thought about it, I could have done all of this bit up front, but hey ho. Now ladies, do we want to finish the front inside front cover today and come back next week for the back cover and the decorative piece of the front cover, or do you want me to carry on until I get fed up? Oh sorry, Terry, yes you're right, Meet and Mingle, you should be seeing me, so I just need to remember that you've gone forward. It'll be 10 o'clock in the UK for your mingle. I might be fast asleep by then. I'm not a night owl by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll endeavour to join you, even if it is just for a few minutes. There we are. It's not like a rinse and repeat, is it? My daughter is cooking me dinner tonight, so if she comes in and mutters at me, I'll know I've spent too long online. There we are. Because why not? Yeah, 10 o'clock is, but that's fine. It's okay. It's just life, isn't it? It's just life. It's the hours of the clock. The winter timing is definitely more social for the UK. Into there, pop that into there, pop that into there, and then we will know where we're up to. So let me just pop that magnet onto there and see what you've done with your red liner tape, because you've now got so much gubbins up and around that you can't, oh there we are, that you can't see where the wood for the trees. So this will get obviously a little thicker when I add some extra pictures in. So let us just, and if it doesn't work, we'll just add another magnet over the top and change the last piece of paper that we put on the flip. So all I've done is put my magnet on top of the other one so that I know I've got the polarities correct. A little bit of tape onto there, just give it a little bit of room, okay, before you stick it down. Just going to move that down just a fraction, I think. Oops, she says. There we are. Just, well, why not? Why not? I'm just wanting to give it a little bit more wriggle room, because by the time we've got pictures in here, it's going to need a little bit more slack. There we are. So that can go onto there. That can go onto there. As I say, if this doesn't, then grab through that lot. No, it's not going to grab. So that's because I made a schoolboy error in the process and shouldn't have covered that piece of paper. So don't you worry. When you do something as daft as I've just done, just regroup. Pop that down, give that a little bow. Take the tape off there. Hey, give that little wiggle. Come on, off you come. There we are. Nice little bow. Pop that there, and then cut yourself another piece of paper, because clearly that was numbskully in the first place. But that's okay. We can deal with that, because it was my own silly fault. Thank you. Good thought, Big, good thought. Having not done two on the other side, I think we'll not worry so much for the moment, but I will have a play with that as a concept, because clearly that might, it just, there we are, that can come across there. So we'll just recover that bit, and no one will be any the wiser that I was a complete numpty. There we are. Okay, so that's, yeah, that is the right way. I am having one of them days, always having one of them days, but that's okay. We're okay. We're okay. There we are. Stick that on there. We will have it working by the end of the day. That can go onto there. That can go up. Just gives it a little bit. I think you're right, B. I think I will put a second one onto there, because I think it's going to work quite nicely, and as you say, it'll give the extra wriggle room that's required, just in case. Goodly thought. See, you live and learn something new from someone all of the time. There we are. So we'll just pop another bit of glue back there, add my second magnet, just make sure we've got it round the right way. Okie dokie. Oh, she says. Right. Hey, like it when a plan comes together. Right. That can go there, that can go there. Then we can cover that thing I was doing. I was checking whether I like that one or whether I prefer that one. I'm going to go with that one. Yay! Thanking you for the tip, B. Thanking you. There we are. There we are. So you've got two then, either which way that you want. And hopefully one or other, or a bit of one of them, will then catch. Let's grab a cloth and even those out where we made a mess. There we are. Good morning, Renee. There we are. Let's just clear off some of that extra. But as I say, if you put the magnet on there first, then it makes life easy for you. You don't need to faff around and put another layer of paper over it. It's only because I was moderately numbskullish. Right, excellent. So clearly I don't want a nasty edge there, and although that white looks nice, we're actually not going to leave it as that. So I have another piece of paper here from the collection, and I'm going to deliberately choose this side of it because it gives me this for other things. So these now need to be 6¼ inches wide. It's beautiful paper. It is beautiful paper. So there we are. That will cut to 16¼ 6¼ yeah, 6¼ okay. And then we're going to add our pattern going down. So let's clear some space. We can clear some space, and we need these to be, so they're all the same, 4¼ so 4¼ and then we're going to go 4¼ we're going to go for the next ones. Right, that was scored at a half, so we're going to go up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 3/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully we then have enough of those. And watch me having miscalculated that. My hubby is not so bad, not so bad. Right, excellent. So we're going to pop this piece onto here. We have plans to pretty all of that white up, to be fair. We're not going to leave it as is. So that one can go onto there. So we now need the corresponding piece that goes into here. That clearly doesn't correspondingly go into there. So that's where we're going to have fun and games. That will work. So we're just going to pretty these edges up. Tackle that white edge in the process. There we are. So that's the next piece. Maybe that wasn't the next piece, but hey ho. Maybe that was the next one. We'll find the next one then as we go. I guess the answer is to cut them separately one by one as you do them, instead of trying to be clever. No, that definitely isn't the correct one. Tell you what, we're just going to go with the flow. We need a piece with green. A piece that it'll be the correct one then, won't it? That's got a nice piece with lots of green, a big chunk of green on it. There we are. So that can go there. Where's that next one? That's not it. That's not it. It'll be that piece. There we are. tip it round the right way. Maybe not that one. Maybe not that one. Yeah, we will find it. We will find it. Aha! You see, I like it. This is just PVA glue, Betty. This is a Polish school glue. Any PVA will work for you. Doesn't have to be so precise. Right. So, don't want that piece, don't want that piece. I think that piece is going to go into there. Let's just clear that mucky mess. It's like a jig. Well, I've only made it like a jigsaw puzzle because I should have just actually cut one strip at a time and put it down, and then my life would have been so much easier, Betty. But hey ho, why make life easy when you can do it the complicated way? That's just, it's just what we do, isn't it? Let's say this is literally just Polish school glue. There we are. That can go onto there, that can go onto there, that can go onto there. Well, there you are. Has to be that way around. Oh, we're just going to pop it there, jigsawed it into place. It will be fine. And the eagle eyes will see that there's equally pieces in here. So let's not be clever about this, because actually these don't need to line up. And we're going to go tell if it was on one. Let's line them up sensibly. 2, 3, but actually it can just as easily be the other side for the inside. 4. You can see by doing this you're using lots of your pieces up, and then you're not going to end up with masses of pieces to put in a rubbish bin or don't match with anything. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's cut another one. There we are. But as I say, for this one it doesn't matter so much. Right, excellent. Good. Because actually I think I'm going to add the text in the inside anyway, and they're not going to be contiguous, so that doesn't really matter, does it? So I do want to put the text so it's at least up the correct way, because up around the wrong way it will do me head in. That looks reasonable. There we are. So that can fit into there. So that's throwing bits on the floor, because why wouldn't you? There we are. So these don't matter if they're not exactly the next ones, because they're going to be alongside each other anyway. There we are. Yeah, I have got the writing up the right way, because we don't want that up the wrong way. From there. So we're just filling in the pieces, hopefully making it look nice along the way, and so it looks like it might be meant to be like it. There we are. Stick that one onto there. Clear up the mucky mess that we've got there. Go into that. I really do want that one to be down a little bit better than it was. And there we are. I've got lots of fussy cut images and lots of die cuts. So at this point you can do what you wish, really, in terms of decorating it. We might be here until midnight if I carry on and do the whole thing. Well, it'd be a look, but it wouldn't be quite the right intention. There we are. Let's just pop that onto here. You could have this as a pocket quite happily. Let's just centralise that in there. Okay. So, when it's in the album, it's going to look somewhat like that. Let's just pop that out of the way. And I clearly shouldn't have done that bit, so let's just add another piece of that to the bottom of that piece of paper. Okay. Solutions to everything if you want and if you look for them. But you could just leave that as a decorative piece. You could put a pocket onto there if that's what you wanted to do. The choice is yours. Okay. So, I think we might now do some decorating. Before we put it into the album. So at this point, we can do a number of things, because we've got different sizes. I'm not going for precise. I'm not going necessarily for neat and tidy. I'm just wanting to add a little bit of interest to my pieces. So that's just a text stamp, and we've got some rub-ons from the collection. There we are. Don't necessarily want all of that piece, it's too big an element, so let me just do a little bit of a choppy in half, because we can then use that other half elsewhere. So let's just pop that onto there. So a little bit of text, a little bit of that. Add another piece over there. Sorry if it's on the wonk, it's because the pieces, let me just straighten it up as much as I can. There we are. So there we are. Still plenty of space then for, oh, she says, and that's an archival ink, so that's not going to go anywhere. But hey ho! And then we can pick maybe a little butterfly I've just cut from the paper, so that can go there. And then we need something for the top page, so let's see where we're going to go. And of course long term that's going to have a photograph on it, so it won't matter. You know, smudges accepted. So this has some big corner elements in this pack of rub-ons, and I don't necessarily want the whole of that corner, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a trim. We're going to move that down. We're going to tuck that onto there. I'm going to pop that out of the way so we don't end up with more mucky messes. And this way you can make, don't worry Jane, we all have a life, don't we? We all have a life. There we are, we'll add that piece onto that. I do have several packs of the rub-ons from the collection, so it's not an issue. There we are. And let's see what we've got. Don't know that I didn't want down, don't know that one there. So there's lots of different elements in this collection. He's facing the wrong way. Now there aren't collectibles with this collection, which is all very well and good. There we are, we'll add that. So none of these are reversible, whereas the collectibles are that's because that's not good tight, isn't it? So it's good squidging. Right, we'll swap to this one. There we are. So we'll add that into there. There we are. And we can add some splatters if you want to, or not, as the case may be. Right. So let's keep some consistency for this. So we're going. There we are. And let's pick another rub-on and see where we go. Don't want that leaf for the moment, so that can go tucked over there. And I think I don't want all of that either, but that's fine. So that piece can go onto there. These rub-ons go on quite nicely. There we are. And we can add maybe a little snail, because that's what's there. Don't forget the designer's, oh absolutely, you have to have the designer's smudge, but it, you know, it can be covered long term, or I can replace that for photographing reasons as I want to. So my little snail can sit on there. Now then, I'm not going to pop a piece there. I don't want a piece of that. Let's have a different fern for over there, because we've got quite a lot of pages to cover. But I'm hoping that by just using simple elements, there we are, we can build just some interest onto these pieces, using what we've got, using all the products that coordinate, and actually for me keeping this as a reasonably clean, tidy album. There's lots of elements, we've got another one of them, we've got another one of those. Do I want to add the bird? The bird doesn't fit there, but I'm rather hoping I've got, there we are, we've got a somewhere in that pile is a, there we are. But if I pop him in, I'm going to have to chop his tail off. There are, well, I know that there are 3 diddly mice somewhere in this huge pile of assorted gubbins that I have got. But I'm going to leave him and pop him, I think, on the next page. There we are. So, let's just tidy that. Okay. And we're just going to vary this up a little bit because I think it's going to work better. Varied up a little bit. Where did I put the other half of that piece? There we are. Onto there. We're going to leave that for a second page because it's going to work better for me. And let us now find our little mouse. And we're going to pop our little mouse just onto there. So we now need something to sit into here, and I think let's just clear some of this gubbins out of the way because otherwise it's going to get overwhelming with gubbins and that's never good. So we've got into that, keep those 2 over there. Piece up there. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what we've got. That's too big, that's too big, that's too big. You see, you don't necessarily want lots of different pieces, so we're just going to add, I think, a little. Let me see. And we're going to pop the little birdie over there because I like it. And why wouldn't you? There we are. Let's sit over there. Before I do that, I'll just mop that extra piece off. That can go there. That can go there. So. Let's just take the other half of this. Oops, we'll take it minus the loose leaf. going to pop a little birdie onto there. Oh, she says adding for 25 tons too much. Glue onto there. So we now need to add something onto here. Let's see. It's just as well I've got another pack of these, isn't it? Or a different pack of these, but they're okay. They're all from the same collection, so they all work. That can go over there. Just give that a little bit of a wipe, so that can go over there, and then we'll see what we've got. We've got creatures, we've got I don't really want me hanging in the middle of nowhere, but the little butterfly will work. So actually we've got some smaller butterflies. We know we have smaller ones because there were you cut them all out. You just have to then flick through until you find the one that you want. Excellent, that will do. So we'll just add a little butterfly onto there. Here we are. Let's just make sure none of these are sticking down where I was over generous with my glue. There we are. We'll worry about that. And let us just grab so my oldest hasn't bothered Anne yet at all. My youngest has, but that's life, isn't it? There we are. Yep. So we'll just carry on to our little heart's content, adding little pieces as we go. Yep, I know that feeling. I know that feeling very well. I have, there we are. So we've got, that's a duddy piece. So we don't need that. That can go over there. And let's see if we can find some of the smaller elements. There we are. My little mouse with his little tail. That can go in there, that can go in the bin, that can go in the bin, that can go in the bin. It's very easy to end up with 3 tons of gubbins when you're doing things like this, or even more than 3 tons of gubbins. There's a bit of glue down there, so let's just slide that up into there, and there we are. Our little mouse can go into there, and I'm not going to pop anything up on there because I think it's got enough. There we are. And now can I see what I've done? Oh, there we are. There we are. Absolutely tell them, but for my lot it doesn't make much difference. So I have to be fair and say that my daughter did make my day. I got a little present and she asked me what if I wanted to do anything. I think she was hoping we might be going out for dinner, but that was a nope. we are. I'll put that over there. And we might stick another conker onto there. So that comes in the collection. There we are. Oh, tell me about it, Alison. I can sympathise if I sound a bit shaky and a bit discombobulated. I've got mega family headaches going on at the moment. But you just have, yeah, so I've retreated into my craft room because it's my happy place. So it seemed like a sensible place to come with everything else happening in the world. Let's see if we can find another butterfly. I know it exists in amongst all of this lot. There we are. So let's just pop that onto there. Mop up the extra glue. Clip that down, just make sure we're not sticking anything else together. There we are. Yeah, absolutely. Crafting is a joy. It's definitely good mind occupying activity. Just going to pop a little leaf onto there because we've got one. And we have another little mouse. So these have all come out of the 8x8 paper pad. The 6x6 are too big for this. And did I spend a long time fussy cutting? Yeah, I did. But that's okay. There we are. Put that up there. Let's see what we want onto here. Let's see. We are getting there. We might want just a little bit of glue onto those whiskers, because if I don't get them glued down, then it's going to be a pickle. Ooh, pickle long term. There we are. I'll add that into there. There we are. That can go there, that can go there. And let's see what we got. We should have, that birdie is too big, but those birdies will look just right. There we are. So two little birdies lurking over there up in the trees. Let's just give that. So make sure that that's not getting glued down. There we are. just as well I've got another packet. So that's too big a piece, but let's just give it a little saucy haircut. Oh. Actually, let's just go with it. There we are, we've chopped it in half. We'll just go with it, and we'll put a creature of some description or a flower over that edge that I don't like. There we are. Okay. Got to put Mr. the Big Mouse over it. Why not? Why not? Because it's going to sit over there, sit into there. Can pop that into there quite happily. So I'll pop that piece over there. Oh good, really make a mess of it. Why not? Designer smudges are plenty. That's okay, we will sort that imminently. There we are. We can sort that without too big a problem. There's always a solution for designer smudges. Always a solution. We might not have that one. We might not have that one. We might go for we might. We need to do something with it. I know, but it's okay. We can resolve it. It is all resolvable. We just have to work out with what are we going to resolve it with. And I think we might have just found the perfect solution. And you know the other one that I put a designer smudge onto earlier on? There we are, perfect solution, covered up. There's another designer solution. Oh, of course, because that was a smaller piece. We might just pop one of the. There we are. You see, you can always resolve the issue, and if I'm sensible about this, I can do that 2/3 onto there, and I've created myself a little pocket to tuck things in. Smudge? What smudge? What smudge? And onto the top of him, you know, I've now created an area that needs a little bit more detail added. So let me see what we've got in amongst this motley bunch of stuff that we've all got chopped up. Let's see what we've got. So he's facing the way I don't want him to be facing, but he will sit on there quite nicely. Right, eeny meeny, let's have a tidy down, because we've got too much gubbins on here and it's doing me head in. because there's just too many pieces in the way. There we are. We've got the right, excellent. We've got lots of florals. We've still got some rub-ons. That's also fine. Let's clear this lot out of the way. We don't want to get rid of those. Those could be usable. They're empty. That's empty. That's empty. That can go. That can be used. That can be used. That's gubbins. That's gubbins. That's gubbins. Hey, hey. Let's have, yeah, just nicer to have a tidier surface. Okay. Hi, Glynis. It's okay, darling. We can all only manage so many things in our day. So, here is our cover that we made earlier. Complete with its tie. Let us just add this piece into our book. You do have to fight for it. Yeah, you have to fight for everything if you've got children with special needs. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Society does not look after them, and it's not their fault. Right. Let's do some tape removing. And then whilst we're having a conversation, whilst I'm adding this bit in, we have the inside back cover and the front cover to decorate properly. And I've now been live for nearly 2 hours. So I am thinking, with the greatest respect to everyone, that it might be prudent for me to do a part 2 for this next week. I can pop everything that's ready to the side, out of harm's way. Let's unpack that, put that, and pop this down and get it to glue in place. There we are. Let's just get this all glued down. I haven't given myself a lot of... Okay, that seems like we might have a consensus there, in that we can... Come on, you will sit down. That we will pack up for today. There we are. Okay, so we made the cover. We've added some decorations. We've got a nice waterfall. We can fit something like 16 photographs in this side and put a tuck spot there. So that's quite a lot of spaces. Let me just give this jolly good push down. That can go onto there. There's 2 magnets there, so I just need to find them from there. So next week we will do decorations for the front cover. And we will add a piece here, and we're going to add a pocket with a concertina album into, or an accordion fold into here. Okay, so for today, that's going to bug me, isn't it? We will leave this to all glue down, she says, because she's clearly struggling to get it to glue. There we are. Let's mop up that mess because it will go shiny and we don't like shiny. Okay. So we have front cover without extra embellishments, back cover panel. We've got our me just find out where I've put the magnets. They're up there. There we are. That can go onto there. There we are. It will stick, honestly it will, because there's 2 magnets in there. B's helpful suggestion, and I will then be able to sort this and do proper pocket with everything else next week, because I think that that's going to be a better option. I do need to get myself some stronger magnets, but hey ho, that's just life. Okay. So there we are. That is enough for this week, my darlings. I shall see some of people in Terry Lights' Crafting Chaotic Zoom room later on. I'm thinking Martin particularly, and I will do a live with the rest of it next weekend for everyone. So ta-ta, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your day.